What's good, King Ganda? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson back at it again with another episode here on the channel. And I want you guys to subscribe and hit the bell. Today, I have a very unique guest. You probably wouldn't see him on a platform like this, but again, all voices in the Black community matter today. And I have a really good dear friend of mine from another community that we both run here on YouTube. And he started around the same time that I did back in 2015. But I'll let him introduce himself as to who he is. Go ahead, brother.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Obsidian Ali, and I'm from the United States, and I'm a good friend of O'Shea's, and I'm a podcaster and a semi-professional pastor.
All right. And one of the things I like about you and your content is that, number one, you're from a traditional Black city, which is Philadelphia. And you grew up in Black Philadelphia and Black America. And you've been able to see some of the successes of the Black upper class and middle class, and then some of the issues that we have. And the other day I did a video here on this channel discussing that a lot of times when we're trying to have conversations within the Black community, the conversations get lost in attacking the person who's, let's say we have a problem in Black America with, let's just say, single moms. And instead of, dealing with the position the person is talking about, well, then they'll want to attack the person who's presenting the argument. Why do you think this stuff happens in our community so much?
Because very anti-intellectual strength in life. A lot of us are not very well. It's sad to say this, but this includes even college-educated Black folks. We're not very well educated. We don't have a very good appreciation of education. We're not very good students. There've been studies done on this, the amount of time we work on homework versus whites, Asians, and so forth. So that's a real big part of it, but it's also reinforced by culture. Our culture just doesn't back that up. So our culture is very much driven on the personal, on the emotive. And so that's the reason why we like, attacking each other personally rather than being sober and judicious.
Let me talk about this because, all right. So Obsidian, the other day, we were talking about Roland Martin on your channel. And Roland Martin, for those of you who don't know, he's a big time journalist for CNN, or was with CNN. Now he has his own YouTube channel. And he's very talented at what he does, but he actually has a different political ideology than you. But it doesn't mean that you can appreciate him for what he does, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Roland Martin was talking about how Kevin Samuels was masterful in going viral, and he was explaining the business of social media. And although I don't agree with Roland politically, I've always had mad respect for him as a newsman and understanding and knowing social media. And a lot of Black people have a very hard time. I've noticed on Black YouTube, there's brothers that have a hard time. Those that do, he was saying, they say, well, he was dancing with Hillary, so therefore I don't like him. Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. When you look at other communities, and I think I've learned this from you, the Jewish community, Asian communities, it's not like everybody, we act like only Blacks just can't get along. It's other groups that can't get along. But you see Jewish people who are conservative, liberal, some are gay, some are heterosexual, but they can all come together on the same agenda to do things. Why do you think? I mean, what would it take for the African American or the Black diaspora communities to be able to do that?
Well, I think that the Black diaspora communities have a better handle on it than Black Americans do. I think at this point, Black Americans are going to be dealing with more and more segmentation. To tell you the problem with Black Americans is that we're successful. Nobody admits, because we need the big R word, racism, to still be there to explain away Black failure, even in the midst of continuing Black success. But the truth is that we're successful now. The civil rights movements worked. They weren't perfect. They worked. And most black people are middle class now. That inevitably means differing interests. So we're going to see more segmentation among, gender wise. Most black women vote Democrat. The past two national elections, black men, 20%, 1 out of 5 voted for Republicans. That's going to continue to grow. So that's a function of success. And it's just going to continue to grow. So I think the immigrant communities, because they're smaller, I think they have a better handle on being more unified than native adults, black people.
Let's talk a little bit more about the segmentation. Go into more detail about segmentation in the black community as you see it going in the future.
Well, I think that we're going to continue to see the segmentation, no doubt. And as for what will happen, I think that the immigrant communities, the children of black, African and Caribbean immigrants, I think they're going to put their own stamp on what it means to be black, and I think that's going to rub some native black-born American, ADOS black folks are going to rub them the wrong way, because these are immigrant folks, and that's a different experience from being a descendant of slaves and coming through that whole experience. So expect to see a bit more friction in the future between the two groups.
So not unification, but friction.
Yeah.
Let me talk to you about this, because I know this is your wheelhouse. And we don't talk about it so much in this channel, but obviously in the African American community, there tends to be a problem with the communication gap, not only between, let's just say black men and other black men for, emotional things, but there is a big communication gap between black men and black women. So much so,
absolutely.
Yeah, so much so that if you are talking to black women about, hey, these are the things that are bringing down black women as a whole, they tend to get very offended by it, right? And black men tend to take criticism a lot better, right? It seems like, obviously we'll get some pushback here and there, but black men take it more on the chin. With that communication gap, with black men not being able to communicate effectively to black women without them being offended, where do you see that? Is this a part also of the segmentation that we're seeing because of that communication gap?
Yeah, absolutely. In a very real sense, a lot of black women, well, like I said, black men and black women in large swaths are successful. And I think one of the big tragedies coming out of the civil rights movement, we just didn't see this coming. We were so focused on getting racism under control that we never thought about what would happen after racism was largely gone. And you're not supposed to say this. People will swear up and down. We still, Mississippi burned 1965 thing, whatever. But the simple truth is racism just isn't what it used to be. It just doesn't have the same type of force. And so as human beings are want to focus on us. And black women and black men were more or less forced to be together. We're no longer forced to be together. We can have our own ideas of what we want. What a life, black own ideas of what a good life is. Black men have their own ideas of what a good life is, and now we're starting to see that expressed politically. And it's only going to get worse. It's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse, because more and more black men are trending Republican, whereas almost every black woman, you might have a few here and there, but damn near 100% of black women are Democrat. So this is only worse as time goes on. It's not going to get any better. So,
do you think that, because obviously, I know that me and you, we share a level of, even though people might criticize maybe what our interpretations of what it means to be a pro-black is in America, it's because you're a black Republican. Some people would say that's not. I have this Christmas hat on. I had a Negro tell me that I wasn't a pro-black because of this hat. Go figure that. But you do see in, especially in the African communities in Europe, I see a lot of black men with white women. And you see this also with, with a black immigrant men with white women, African American men with non-black women. And again, I believe is it because that we have a communication problem with our own people and we just can't talk to them? So we're just saying, you know what? I'm done with the black community. And I'm talking about even insofar as keeping our talent in the community, business owners, people who are, what do you think about that?
I think you're right. I think you're 100% correct. I think a lot of it is a communication breakdown. And unfortunately, we don't have the thought leaders, cultural leaders, academic leaders to to really get our mind around that, to get ourselves around that. It's unfortunate, man. It's really sad that we don't have the wherewithal to really work that out. All the air in the room is sucked up by de facto activists who are hell bent on fighting this phantom of racism. And so other human concerns, other human needs, issues, kind of fall by the wayside because we're so consumed by dealing with racism. And so, just getting along. I mean, I always say, O'Shea, the single biggest problem facing black folks is that we just can't get along, man. We black women and black men in particular, we just can't get along. We can't agree. We're increasingly unable to agree on simple things. For example, here's one that's a major issue in our corner of the internet. The idea of who leads. Do black men lead in the home or do black women lead in the home? It's very clear. Black women have their own idea about how things should be run in the home. And black men don't want that. They want something different. So, I mean, when you got a situation like that where y'all can't even agree to leave the toilets down, I mean, how do you handle big problems? Black women want to run it one way, and I'm not saying they're wrong for that. I don't want to live like that, but do they have the right to do it? It's a free country. But it's clear black men want to run it another way. So we go back and forth all day long trying to figure out, who's going to leave the toilet seat up or down. And we can't get anything else done. Because we spend all our time fighting over the toilet seat. That's where we at in Black America. Everybody's fighting over the toilet seat.
Let me talk to you about this because me and you, obviously we haven't agreed on everything. We've had, some issues here and there, although very small. But we've worked together over the last 5 years. Although I've never met you, we built pretty good communities together. We built shows together. We've made a lot of money together. And when we first came into our space, there was no monetization of black male content at all. But what you've showed me over the years is that if you want to, if as a people, if you work together and stay loyal to one another, you can make a lot of progress, right? And I want to thank you for being I want to thank you for in Black YouTube and giving a lot of people a voice to the conversation because you've welcomed all opinions and even me, I've taken suit. But what I've also saw is a lot of people don't understand that you need people, right? And when I look at the black community, whether it be, Greater Philadelphia, Chicago, the Los Angeles areas, a lot of black men and women just don't have the network to even be able to find out things. Like when coronavirus happened in our community, we were able to get strategies real fast and survive it. And we did very well. But
Right.
other people, because they can't get along and they don't know how to make friends and they don't know how to communicate effectively with others, they rob themselves of opportunities, although they're talented. Have you also noticed this, or just me?
You hit the ground. Absolutely. That's a major. Well, let's take it to the family. The black family. And the black and family start relationship. When I say that, I'm black men, black women. It starts there. Look at the marital rate. The black marital rate is at its lowest point recorded. It was first recorded U.S. Census 1896. So you're looking at coming out of slavery, Reconstruction, black folks really on the rise at that time. And, you know, I mean, we were the most married people in the country at a time when racism, real racism, you know, Klan and all that stuff was at its height. And today, I mean, come on. I mean, you could count the number of Klansmen on one hand now. And, you know, David Duke is a joke. And we got the lowest black marriage. Not only do we have the lowest black marital rate, and it's under 30% now. Not only is that true, we don't even live together as much as anybody else. We have the lowest cohabitation rate. And that's because we can't get along. I said it before. I'll say it again. I don't use the colorful language because I don't get you in trouble. I call it hate effing. Hate effing is the default setting of mating in Black America. We hate F, and then we go back to our respective corners until we get the urge to hate F again. We go back and we hate F, and then we go back to our respective corners. Black women over here, black men over here. We get together F, and then we go. Now you're supposed to build a society with that.
Yeah, you can't build a society like that.
Black men and black women, we don't get along on anything other than hate F.
Just, just sex, and that's it.
WAP. Yeah, you think that song WAP is all about? That's hate F.
Right.
What is put it in your mouth? So and so the circle. What is that on? Hate effing. What it is. There's no love in that. There's no romance in that. Throw that so and so in a circle. That's hate effing. Put it in your mouth. That's hate effing. I mean, you love somebody. Hey, baby, how you doing? Put it in your mouth. You know, these things. Hey, look, I'm not saying that I don't pop my. I'm not saying that I don't pop my fingers to it too, but I know it for what it is. That's hate effing. That's what it is.
Right.
There's no romance there. There's no love in that. No tenderness in that. Throw that thing back. Put it on the glass. Hate effing.
Right.
Turn team and all that. That's hate. Hate effing.
Right.
And you can't hate that. I mean, have you ever hate F before? But
no.
well, let me put it this way, because I don't want to put you on blast. Most black people have hate F. All right?
Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Most black people have hate F. And that could be some good effing.
Oh, yeah.
That can really, I mean, you can, let me tell you something. When you really feel some kind of way, you can really get it in. But you can't, but you can't build a life with like that. You can't build a family like that.
No.
You can't build a community based around hate effing.
No, you can't.
You can't do that. That's good for a little bit. See, black people have some serious psychological issues that we got to work out. And one of those issues is we're the kinkiest people in America. Quiet as it's kept. We're the kinkiest. You know, we think about kink, we think about white people with whips and chains and leather and all that. No. They're mild compared to black folks. We just don't have all the outer trappings. But we're the kinkiest. There are black women who can't get aroused unless they're dealing with a felon.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. There are black men who can't get aroused unless they're dealing with a thought.
Oh, yeah.
But of course, the problem is these felons and thoughts, they bring other problems. So after you get finished hate effing and they bring their other problems, now these same people want to go on social media and complain about all this, thought that. Well, you wasn't saying that when you was bouncing up and down on her. right?
Nope.
Oh, these guys are dusty. Well, he had all that dust on him, but he was hitting it from the back, though. You was giving him back shots. You weren't talking about dusty then. See, white people have figured out how to manage their kink. They figured it out. Black folks are going to have to figure out how to manage the kink. If your thing is you just like some low down so-and-so, you're going to have to figure out how to manage that within the context of the rest of your life so it don't take over your whole life. Where black people are right now is our whole existence is consumed by the fact that we got this kink and we don't know how to control it. So we got this hate effing, we got this thought piece, we got this felony piece. We can't control that. We want that thug love, that thugging love, and all the rest. We wanted to throw that so and so in the circle, and then we can't control it. And this is the reason why women, grown middle-aged black women, can't help themselves but to get up on the chair, on the furniture at an upscale establishment and start twerking. See, this is what I'm talking about. White people don't do that. They figured it out. They got special places to go where they want to act a fool. We gotta learn how to do that too. There's a certain place you go where you want to do that. You want to throw it in the circle and all that. You can go there and do that. And then you come back to regular society and act like you got some sense. These are
it's a tough conversation to have, but it's true.
Yeah, and that's just the plain truth. They can't handle that. And my thing is, we got to have an honest conversation. All this other stuff we're talking about, we got to start there. We got to start with who's going to who's going to run things in the household. Is the toilet seat going to be up or down? How do we deal with the kink? How do we deal with that? Okay, you're angry today. I get that. But hate effing can't be the default setting of building a family. That can't be the default setting. Just because you like to suck and F and suck and sit and spin, that can't be the basis of a family.
Right.
When you got whole other human beings to deal with their own problems and personalities and needs and all the rest of it, you got to set aside your predilection to want to see her throw that so and so in the circle. That's got to be put on the back burner. That's what white people have figured out how to do. Black people are going to have to figure out how to do that if we want to be successful in the 21st century.
Well, brother Obsidian, you really brought it today. I know a lot of people, haven't. And I told this crowd that I was going to bring some people that were going to shake it up about Black America. And you brought some interesting things that, obviously I know some of these people won't agree with. And we got to do a show about the racism piece, how you don't feel that it's hurting Black folks as much. And I think it's a good topic because, like you said, everybody in the Black community has a voice, right? And we need to really bring it all to the table with the intellectualism. And that's the one thing that I can say about you is we can stick it to the arguments and we can stick it to the debates without the name calling. Obviously, you will have some Negroes in this comment section that will do that, but that's because they're dumb. But I appreciate you for bringing this.
That's the hate part.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Hate part. They got to come in with that. Yeah, a lot of Black folks are very angry. We're angry, but see, it's not because of racism. It's because we'll do black men first. It's because you can't control your urge to see that thought, throw that thing in a circle. And you get angry when they do that, and then they act the way thoughts act. Thoughts act the way thoughts act. That because they're thoughts. That's why. And you wanted to see that. You was okay when she was doing it, throwing it in the circle, but then when she does other things that thoughts do, now you mad. Black women, they mad. Yeah, Black women are mad because that thug that they like, that rough and ready guy, he does what rough and ready guys do. So when he gets finished handling you rough and ready, then he goes and does some other rough and ready stuff that you don't like. Now you mad. Now black women, excuse me. Now black men ain't you know what sugar honey iced tea. Now black men are dusty. No, you wasn't saying all that when he was hitting it with the back shots before. The secret to white success is boredom.
Yes.
That's the secret. It's boredom and stability. Black women don't like it. Black men don't like it. They like that kink. Well, guess what? All kink all the time ain't good.
Yes, that's true.
Somebody got to pay the bills. Somebody got to go to work.
Right.
Somebody got to cook dinner. Somebody watch the kids. Everybody can't be getting a swirl on, getting a throw that soap in the circle on, getting their back shots in. Everybody can't do that all the time, man. Somebody got to do the stuff of life. And that's where it starts for black people. It ain't about racism, white supremacy in the year 2020. It ain't about racism, white supremacy. It's about who's going to keep the toilet seat up or down. Who's going to do that? Who's going to go to work to pay the bills every day? That's pretty much where we at with it.
All right.
And that's the boring, dangerous, boring stuff.
Yep, yes, sir. Well, let me ask you, tell people, about your channel. If somebody subscribes to you from here, what can they expect?
Well, much of what you just heard right here. I do talk radio from a black man's perspective in the United States. I call myself the voice of the everyday brother. And that's the appeal of the show. It's a lot of humor. It's a commentary. And that's what we talk about. And I think that you'll like it. Matter of fact, we're going to be on the air in a few hours, 6 p.m. EST, the Obsidian Media Network #2 channel, the Obsidian Media Network 2. And we're going to get underway at 6 p.m. And I look forward to hearing from you.
All right. I'll put his in the first comment pinned to the top. And I do want to have you on more, brothers like yourself. I know that this channel was really about Africa, Black America, and more of a pro-Black setting, but I think that's some of your best content. Even though you might not talk about it all the time, you are a specialist in breaking down what's happening in Black America, and I think a lot of that deserves on this channel. I know a lot of people are going to be. I had Brother George Macon on here last week, and I was getting so many responses, people who wanted to debate him and things like that. So I'm pretty sure that you'll get a lot of the pro-Blacks who will hear what you have to say. And I know you're all open for discussion. So I thank you so much. Anything else you want to say?
No. I'm looking forward to being back on the show, O'Shea. Thank you so much for that. And we can talk more about how hate effing is the fault setting in Black America.
All right. Thank you so much. And as you guys know, keep it real. King Ghana forever. I'm out.